Have you heard about this personal and professional podcast?
Coaching in Session
with your host, Michael Rearden.
Every so often, I like to do a recap, not only about mindset, but the things that help us with mindset. Because we could look back just last week or the week before, I believe, we were talking about mindset quite a bit, right? We talked about the problem of mindset, the disease of mindset, and how do we get over it, the cure, and how the abstract mind can be a benefit and it can also be an enemy. We talked about the 1% type of mindset, not only to attain it, but understand the building blocks in order to achieve it. We need to realize that, we are human, right? Like we get tired, we get hungry, we get human, right? We get those days where it's like, I'm lazy today, or I don't feel like it today. And I mean, yes, those days are going to be there for you to, be presented with, and you get to choose what you do with those days. You get to either choose to show up or you get to choose to not show up. I think about parents, for example. Parents don't necessarily have the luxury to kind of say, I'm not going to show up today. They kind of have to figure out how we're going to make it work. And, it's better when you have two in the household, right? So maybe one parent or person in the household, they say, I'm at 10% today. And the other person's like, Jesus, you're only at 10%. Well, okay, I'll cover the 90. So they're able to work together. Now, if you don't have that system, then you have to figure out how you're going to do it. And that's where many parents are struggling, right? There's like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do everything. I'm stuck in my career because I have to pay the bills and keep a roof over the head and keep food in the bellies of the kids. Maybe you send your kids to private schools, etc. It becomes a challenge. You give yourself a mission for those kids and you say, I'm going to do everything that I can for them. You have to also be that hero factor for them, right? You're like, hey, I'm here, I'm doing it, you can do it too. And oftentimes there's also that incentive or that whisper of, I'm doing everything I can so you can have the best life possible. And you will have hopefully a better life than I had growing up. Now, sometimes they go backwards and it's not the better life. And sometimes those ways of thinking can actually be harmful for a child's development. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones in control of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. And how we choose to incorporate those and intertwine those into our daily life and in the world around us is going to be a huge factor in how our mindset is going to continue to develop. Now, I understand when it comes to your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, we can look at some of the past blogs that I had, and I encourage everyone to go to the blog page, and then in the right corner, there's a search window. Just type in thoughts, feelings, and actions, and you're going to see dozens of blogs pop up about this topic, because at the end of the day, if we can control our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions, we have won a part of the battle. Now, the war is going to be an accumulation of many other things and of many other days. So our thoughts, again, are going to be how we're thinking, positive, negative. We can even think of it in a simple way, a growth-minded versus fixed-minded type of individual. Now, our thoughts are either going to help us become something more than what we are, or they're going to be those anchors and those limits that stop us from truly trying to attain something more and better. Then we get into our feelings. And let me tell you about these feelings. Everyone wants to talk about feelings. Emotional intelligence. We got to have emotional intelligence in school. And we have to talk about our feelings. And we need to have an open discourse. If you're upset, you need to tell someone you're upset, because they need to know that your feelings need to be felt. And I mean, sure, right? If you want to raise a bunch of pansies, all right? And I know this sounds so bad, because we're living in this society where, this emotional intelligence is almost like a badge. Like, people are so proud to wear. I'm emotionally intelligent. I know how to look at someone's emotions, and I know how to navigate my own emotion. This is common sense, people. It's almost like this emotional intelligence conversation where these people are saying, oh, I'm emotional intelligent or I'm emotionally intelligent, is I look both ways before I walk the street. Well, you know what? I make sure that I turn off the gas before I leave the house, and or turn off the stove, like, so you turn off the stove before you leave the house, and like common sense things that we know you're not supposed to do. Well, it's the same thing with emotional intelligence, right? So people who wear this badge of honor and they're saying like, oh, I'm able to talk to people's emotions and understand people's emotions. It does not matter, because at the end of the day, if someone doesn't like you because they don't like you, they're not going to like you. There's no conversation that's going to say, hey, you need to like me. You need to appreciate me. Many people, they fall into that trap. They want everyone to love them and to like them. And so they tiptoe. And I am not worried about being the villain. Okay. I am not worried about being the villain. I tell my dad and I tell my wife all the time, I was like, listen, I'm not the hero, even though I do a lot of good things in life, like if we had to compare them. But at the end of the day, if people don't like me, then that's on them, right? Because at the end of the day, my thoughts are going to still be my thoughts, and I'm going to still go after the things that I would like to accomplish in my life. And it doesn't matter about what people feel I do or how I make other people feel. Now, I understand that many things that I do bring about better feelings in people, right? So if I had to have a scale, right, of things that I say that hurt people and things that I say that uplift people, of course, the things that uplift people are going to outweigh the things that are going to maybe belittle someone. Sometimes people need that tough love, that harsh truth. We talked about the sugar and spice method already. And the reason why we have everything and everything ties together so wonderfully is because everything is necessary. We think that, if we just kind of, treat everyone with, white mittens and gloves, and we are very careful with them, they're going to be this citizen in life that is so happy and abundant, where we can look at the studies and we can look at kids from wealthy families that have everything and how they're so anxious and depressed and unhappy. You would think that, all of their feelings are attended to, right? They have pretty good thoughts, right? They don't have to worry about gangbangers on the corner or someone coming in and robbing your house or shooting up the place. Guess what? They didn't have that type of thought. But then again, those thoughts can help you become more resilient. I had those thoughts when we were growing up in the hood, right? House, just, on a busy road, car accidents, people getting killed in front of the house, drugs next door. I mean, like, we can go down the list of things, the house being ransacked multiple times. Can't even tell you how many times, right? We bought so many VHSs, so many PlayStations, and coming home and literally the house is destroyed. Couches flipped over and, things broken. And you would think, like, who in the world would do something like this? Well, it's not so much of hating the person who has done this, because when that happened, I understood something. It's not so much about, oh my God, I'm the victim. It's what you do after it. So what we did was, we picked up, we cleaned up, I was like, okay, well, what's left, right? Whatever's left, we work from there. And many people there, living in the scarcity type of mindset, their thoughts are scarce. Their feelings are inadequate because they feel like, why me? Why me? And it doesn't matter why you. It matters that you were given this test, this challenge. So yes, it is you. Are you going to show up? Then we get into the action part, right? This is the most critical part. The part where many people, they fail to take action. Many people, they're dreamers. Many people are hopers, and like they wish, and they have this fanciful delusion about them, where they think that the world is something that's going to be theirs if they just kind of give a good intention to it. Now, I understand we have talked about mantras and we talked about affirmations on the podcast, and all of these are powerful tools. Remember, a tool is necessary for the job. Okay. So, depending on where you are, that might be a wonderful tool. All right. If I need a drill to drill in some screws and some 2x4s, I'm not going to use a hammer. Okay. If I have a nail, I will use a hammer into the 2x4s. But if I have a screw, I'm going to use a drill. I might even do the hard way or the more challenging way and use a screwdriver. Now that I understand that there's different tools for the job, why not equip myself with the different mindset I need for my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions? Because everyone's just kind of lumping in what society says your thoughts should be, what your feelings should be, and how you should navigate your feelings. And then, of course, the end, how you should be acting. Because if you're not doing this and you're doing the wrong thing, and you're a misogynist, and you're a racist, and you're a bigot, and you are all of these negative things because you are living your life according to you. If you understand that, if you live your life according to you and you can control your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, you, in a sense, are powerful because you are not afraid to go against the grain. You are not afraid to go against the status quo of the world. And many people, they want to be loved. They want to be liked. And it's so funny because I could care less if, people watch my videos, if they don't watch the videos. And all of this here is just a resource for individuals to utilize if they want to, right? The reason why the whole company is because you can take it or you can leave it. And this is something that is in every aspect of your life. You can take it or you can leave it. You can take the hard road, you can leave the hard road. You could take the good life, you can leave the good life, right? You can take crap at your job or you can say, I'm going to leave this job, right? You can live an unfulfilling life or you can go out and live a fulfilling life. There's always the option for you to do the alternative, but yet many people, they think that their circumstances, what is defined for them and is definitive because they can't change it. And when you lock yourself into that level of thinking, that mindset, sure enough, you are going to be a person that is struggling at some point in your life. And you're going to say, I don't know what to do. I'm unhappy, right? Maybe you're thinking of a better life because you are not in control. So how do we get in control, right? Because I believe that is an important part of the conversation. Our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions are all going to be in our control. Now, there's going to be times when we relinquish our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions momentarily to others. But it's almost like like if you're a guy or something and you're single, right? You have to be single because if you're married and you're doing it, then, whatever. But, let's say you're a guy and you're single and you see this wonderful, beautiful lady walk by you and you're like, my goodness, you're so beautiful, right? And maybe you don't say nothing, but you look, you're captivated by her beauty. So she attracted you to look at her, right? And maybe you smile, maybe she smiles back, right? And it's not so much that you need to go talk to her or anything. It's just that you were made aware of her, right? Ladies, it could be the same thing, right? Maybe you see a gentleman that you like. Or it could be at a bar, it could be at a club, it could be walking in the street, down the street, the store, whatever. And you're just walking, you're minding your own business, you're at the gym maybe, and you see someone, you're like, whoa, look at him, right? And you're attracted to him, right? There is nothing wrong with being attracted to someone because you're seeing something you like. You're in control of that. You understand what you like. You understand what you don't like. Now, if you want to maybe get to know the person, we need some actions, right? So let's jump over to actions. What are we going to do? Are we going to go introduce ourselves? We're going to say, hi, my name is Michael. Or, hi, my name is so-and-so. I saw you. I just wanted to introduce myself. What's your name? Right? It could be simple, just simple conversation. Maybe they're super, annoyed that day. They don't want to talk, right? Sure. It happens, right? Maybe they're not in control of, their thoughts and feelings and actions. So they're just kind of like checked out and they don't really want to look at what could be because they were so worried about what is. Okay. And there is a power in what is. But when we're trying to look at our thoughts and feelings and our actions, it's almost like our next move also has to be an important move. Think of it as chess. In chess, you have the board and all the pieces have already moved, right? It's the present moment. But you have to think 5, 10, 15, 20 steps ahead. Because if you do not, you're going to find yourself in a predicament that is not going to allow you the victory, most likely, because you have to plan certain things. And when it comes to that, our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions, we almost have to plan it. Now, we're still living in the moment, we're still being present, but we are in control of that. For the people who relinquish it and they're just kind of allowing their actions to kind of procrastinate, and they're allowing their thoughts to be on something more grandiose that their mind understands is out of reach, and then their feelings of that feeling is also unattainable, sure enough, that's not beneficial. All right. So let's do things that are beneficial. So going back to that example, the girl's like, maybe she's like, I have a boyfriend or I have a husband or something like that. And you can just, if you're a guy, you can just simply say, well, he's a lucky guy, right? And move on with your life, right? You were in control of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Now, if you were not in control and you just kind of allowed what she said to kind of get to you, you might say, well, I didn't like you anyway. You're ugly anyway. Or like, like it's childish, number one. We learn, we mature with age, right? Children have probably the most damnedest time with this aspect. Being in control of their thoughts, their feelings, and actions is almost like telling them to clean their room and to keep their room tidy. They might do it most of the time, but the times that they don't, it's a problem, right? So we need to learn at a very young age how to be in control of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. And this is why I love martial arts for a child ages 5 plus. If you have a child who's 5 plus, they should be in martial arts. And I mean, like, literally keep them in martial arts for like 5 years. Okay. If you had to do that, it's like a mandatory thing, martial arts. I understand there's swimming and there's soccer and there's all other things, right? And you might say, my kid's a pacifist, like they don't want to hurt anyone. No, you are a pacifist and you don't want to see your kid hurt anybody, right? Or you don't want to see your kid hurt. And I understand that. But they have to go through a certain amount of struggle and adversity and challenge and hardship. And they're going to find opponents during that martial arts, whereas, they're going to be better than them. They're going to be more talented, maybe more skilled, and they're going to have to overcome that. Because one of the things that they're going to be wishing for is, I wish I was like that person. I wish I was strong like that person. What would, what do I have to do in order to get that? And oftentimes, all that's derived from inaction. No action is taken. So we shift their thinking to action. You want to be better than Paul. Well, this is what Paul does. Do you want to do what Paul does? All right. And then you do it, right? Do you want to do more than what Paul does so you can be better than Paul, right? All of this is a choice. And if you are not in control of your choices, sure enough, you're not going to be in control of your results. Now, results are going to be sporadic, right? Because when it comes to martial arts, especially, maybe, your opponent does a move or something that you think they're going to do something different. And sure enough, they didn't do it and you get knocked out. Martial arts is one of those unforgiving things that no matter how skilled you are, there's always that proponent that someone can knock you out. They can get the victory over you. There's a winner, there's a loser, right? In life, there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. And we look in life and we can look at the statistics. There are way more losers currently than there are winners. And many people just say, oh, this is not fair. This is not fair. Why are all these winners here? Are all, such few winners and there's all these losers. But then again, when there's a race or something and there's one winner, people don't say, why did you win the race, right? There's so many losers in the race. Like, you should have let them win, right? No, right? Because there's a clear understanding that if you're in a race, there's a winner, there's a loser. But yet today we give out participation trophies and ribbons for participating. And I mean, if my kid ever got a participation in something, I'm going to say, well, you have a choice. You can let me throw it out or you can throw it out yourself. Because we're not about only participating, because life is, you're already participating in life. You don't have a choice but to participate unless you give up, right? Unless you succumb to your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, and basically they come to a conclusion that this is too difficult and I don't want to do difficult anymore. Depending on where you are, right? Some people can be in a very dark place And it's going to be more challenging to navigate those thoughts or feelings in their actions. Maybe they didn't learn the tools to regulate their thoughts. So you would want to journal, right? Write down your thoughts. One of the best tools that I have learned and I give to all of my clients who are struggling with their thoughts is to keep on writing in a journal and to never, ever, ever read what they wrote. Because we're giving the paper the burden. We're giving the paper the fears. We're giving the paper the anxiety, the problems, the hardships, the challenges. We will go through them, yes. But for now, let's give it to something that is not going to, cause us any other thing, but rather a clear mind. And if you write long enough, your mind will become blank. They say that if you have a blank mind, read. If you have a full mind, to write. So if your mind is full, you write. And if your mind is empty, you read. And when you read things that are positive. You read things that are going to help you grow, to help you become a better version of yourself, right? Those are the thoughts. But then the feelings, right? How do we navigate them? Understand you're human, right? You're going to be angry. You're going to be happy. You're going to be upset, sad, right? You're going to be hot, cold, right? Like, even though those are, just states of being, but you have to understand there's going to be different bits of you, right? And it's okay. It's human to be angry, but don't allow that anger to be there and to ruminate within you. One of the best things I have heard about anger, for example, and it could be in anything, right? Anger is like holding on to a hot coal intended to throw at your enemy. If you hold on to that coal, the person who gets hurt the most is yourself. That anger is what you're holding on to. How can we relinquish that anger? And there's different ways to get through different emotions, okay? Sadness is very different than anger, even though it can be considered as a negative emotion. Sadness, you might just need to be in your room and eat ice cream and do these things, right? But then understand bit by bit, let me do a bit more than I did the day before. And let me get back to the person that I was so I can elevate from the person that I was and into the person that I can be, right? Because sometimes we fall back into the person that we are at the moment, right? The person that we are right now. It's okay to take a step back, right? Because we take one step back to take 2 steps forward, or maybe 5 steps forward, right? And don't be afraid to say, hey, I need some help. I need to take a step back and understand, right? To recalibrate yourself, to recompartmentalize your emotions and your feelings and say, hey, like this belongs here, right? Tidy up the house, your brain, your mind, your inside, everything, your feelings. We tidy it up, okay? If your house is dirty, it's hard to move through the house and to think maybe. But when things are clean, right? When things are in order, it becomes easier to move. So now that we understand it's easier to move, it's going to be easier to navigate to where we need to be. We need to get to the room, easy. The kitchen, easy. The bedroom, easy, right? The bathroom, whatever, right? We can get to wherever we want to get to a lot more quickly. So we take the time to clean up all the stuff that needs to be cleaned up. This is therapy if you need it. If it's a trauma, a grief, you can get a coach. Life coaches can help you with this. And we just navigate through all of these different things that you're feeling. And we put it where it needs to be. And we make sure that it's not in the way of our path to the action, right? The action is going to be what we need to do every day. Do we have to journal in the morning? Do we journal at night? Do we wake up in the morning and we say, we're not going to hit the snooze button. We're going to take one step and we're going to get out of bed, right? We count from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or we go 3, 2, 1, and we get up out of bed. We take our shower. We are doing the things that are helping us rather than only thinking about the things that are going to help us. We are doing the things that are going to help us. So if we have to go to the gym, because we know going to the gym eventually is going to give us more energy in our day, let's do that, right? Rather than saying, oh, I don't have any time, right? It's no action there, right? You want to find a relationship? Oh, it's too hard to find relationships, right? Right? We need action. We need to go out. We need to do the work. We need to figure out what type of results we need. And then we look at the actions that are going to help us get the results that we're vying for, that we're looking for. Of course, you're going to have trial and error sometimes, right? A coach can definitely mitigate most of that trial and error. However, trial and error or failure is going to be on the road of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, right? One day you're going to let your thoughts slip. One day you're going to let your feelings slip, maybe. And maybe one day you're going to not allow yourself to do the actions necessary for you to prosper. It's okay, right? Understand that this is not about being perfect. It's about being completely imperfect and understanding that when you feel like you're losing control, remind yourself, I'm in control of my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions. And then if you find people who are not in control of their thoughts, feelings, and interactions, it's not your duty to try to control them, right? They get to decide what they want for themselves, because you can't change a person and a person can't change you. They can try to influence change. For example, the podcast, if you listen to the podcast enough, change and results are going to come your way. But of course, I'm not here to say, you need to change, everyone needs to change, right? America for change, right? No. Change if you want. However, what I will say is many people, they want change. Many people, they want to be a better version of themselves. They want to reach that destiny that they have in their mind. In order to get it, we have to be able to do the things that we might not have been doing consistently before. So I encourage everyone to check out this idea, being in control of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, and figuring out methods and ways that work for you. Because meditation might not work for you. That's why we didn't talk about meditation today. Many people might say, well, I need to meditate and I'm in control of my thoughts, right? Okay, well, meditation doesn't work for everyone, right? Journaling works for a good majority of people. Again, feelings, you're going to have to figure that out. What works for you? Do you need a therapist? Do you need a counselor? Do you need a life coach? Can you navigate those feelings by yourself? You can also journal your feelings out. It works. Action, right? Are you doing the things that you're supposed to do? Are you being consistent and persistent? Because it's easy to say that you're going to do something, right? New Year's comes along, you do it once and you do it twice, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to do it anymore. The action fell through. So actions have to be something that you're going to do more than just once. It's something that you commit to. So understand, for your mindset to truly be yours, you need to reclaim what was lost. And oftentimes it was the power that you relinquished to other people. So reclaim that power within you. And once again, step into the power of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, and understand how they are the proponent to who you can be.